minus 9 minutes. Minus 8 minutes. Minus 7 minutes. Minus 6 minutes. Minus 5 minutes. stand by.
How about that?
I can tell you right now that this is going to be great. Didn't I tell you not to call me Big Earn? It's the RP show. It's that day of the week. It's Wednesday. That means it's just you and me. I get to play Larry King, the sports version of Larry King, for the next hour here on the Game Plus Television Network. Gloria in Round Rock, Texas. You're on the air. Hello. Like, already we got comments coming in. Did you know the drill? You've been successfully trained. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the RP Show, episode number 1694. Canada's favorite daytime sports talk show here on Game Plus TV, welcoming in viewers also in 33 U.S. states. Rod Black is our guest today for Prairie Panels coming up in hour two. Oh, yeah. The iconic Canadian broadcaster. I want to say the first ever television voice of the Toronto Raptors, but he's got a new book out called Cut to Black, Memoirs of Rod Black. I can't wait to chat to him with him about it. And it's funny because we'll get to the quick six show topics here right away, but Scott in Vancouver writes in and says, Rod Black is on and you're not talking basketball? What are you talking about? We're not talking about anything yet. We're just starting. We'll talk with Rod Black about whatever comes up in hour two, okay? So again, we'll do the talking, you do the watching. It's been working pretty good here through 8 seasons. So, okay. I always try to blow your mind a little bit here on the RP show every single day, and I feel like we've been successful at it. In terms of just throwing you curveballs. You would think we would open with hockey, right? You would think that we would. It's the big story. But I don't know where you're sitting right now, but I know where I'm sitting. The big story is day 3 of NFL free agency, and I love the honesty of all the pundits, quite frankly. The guys that I like the most, I like Mike Florio. I like Chris Sims. I really like Dan Orlovsky on ESPN when it comes to covering the NFL. And these guys have all said, what the hell is going on? This is chaos. So we're going to start with day 3 of NFL free agency, which the business year doesn't really start until today. Free agency isn't supposed to open until 4 p.m. today, Wednesday, March 11th. But they've really screwed it up. Just like life, they've really screwed it up, Clark. So let me start with just one news item, and then we'll just go completely off-roading here, okay? 4-time Pro Bowl edge rusher Trey Hendrickson has agreed on a 4-year, $112 million contract with the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens backed out of a blockbuster trade for star edge rusher Max Crosby Tuesday evening. Crosby reportedly failed his physical, so the Ravens quickly pivoted to the best pass rusher on the market. So we all need to slow down, and I can tell you, here is the life lesson in all this. Not coming from me, it's coming from the NFL. They need to slow down. Because I want to tell you, I'm sitting there last night. What did I tell you yesterday? Scruffy can keep his mind on 17 different things at a high level. That makes him elite. He is an elite broadcaster. I am what I am, but I can only keep my little chicken brain on a couple of things. So last night, I'm sitting in the press box at the Panthers game, and some of my media cohorts, I'm not going to name them. They know who they are. They were there. And one of them goes, oh, my God. And I have to remind myself when somebody says, oh, my God, it's not necessarily a life-threatening moment. And in this case, it is for the Vegas Raiders. That's the news dropped about the end of the first period last night of the Panthers-Detroit Red Wings game, that the Baltimore Ravens were backing out. And I just want your take, the viewers, 902-518-3033 on the Western Dodge text line or the YouTube chat, what you're seeing is going on. So I just mentioned from the Associated Press story what seems to be the deal, but this morning Florio and Chris Sims are saying, this smells kind of fishy. I'm like, yeah, doesn't it? So let's just say this for the uninitiated. If you're maybe not the biggest NFL fan and you can't wait for us to get to hockey here, just wait till after the break. Huge trade Friday. Las Vegas Raiders trade their disgruntled defensive end Max Crosby to the Baltimore Ravens for a couple of first-round draft picks, and then we get till Tuesday night, and then the Raiders announce on their social media that the Ravens have backed out of the deal. Somebody somewhere subsequently reported it was because Crosby failed his physical. We've been talking about this over the past couple of days. Crosby goes and hosts his podcast on Saturday and thanks the Raider Nation for all the love and all the hate and bye. It's been great, but it's on to the next chapter. And then the Raiders reportedly were trashing Max Crosby for his work ethic. Man, wasn't that great of a leader here? Didn't work out as hard as we would have, or whatever it was coming from the Raiders. All of a sudden, oops, They get rid of Crosby. They're spending money all over the place. Tyler Linderbaum, the number one offensive lineman on the market. They make him the highest paid player ever. And then, the trade's up. The trade's done. They backed out. This is all before free agency was even supposed to happen. Now, you don't, in Canada, have the opportunity to watch Scott Van Pelt, the Sports Center anchor. He's an icon down here, but he tweeted last night. He just said, what are we doing here? Trades, podcast farewells, backing out of trades. What are we doing here? It's chaos. So when I go back, like Florio said it this morning, Orlovsky said it this morning, I'm confused. If you're confused, you guys are supposed to be the pundits. What do you think the fans are thinking? And then furthermore, oh, man, this ain't going to be hard to get through 2 hours today of what's going on in the sports world today. They said this is the most salacious sports morning in history. I don't know about that, but that's everything's the latest and the greatest. But I see this ticker coming across the bottom of the ESPN screen this morning. Should Cowboys pursue Max Crosby? And I'm like, why would we? We, being the Dallas Cowboys, America's team, really one of the few teams that I'm left being a fan of in this perilous trade. It reminded me of the old Slapshot line. Every piece of garbage that comes on the market, you got to buy it. Not that Max Crosby's a piece of garbage. He's not. What I'm saying is, why, if the Ravens don't want him, why would we? And furthermore, Max Crosby had a torn meniscus, had an unbelievable knee injury. But it's like, why is he posting a farewell on his podcast if he didn't feel confident that he was healthy enough to pass a physical? Oh, my gosh. So there's just that. That's one item. The warm-up is brought to you by Neil Chark of Uniglobe Carefree Travel, the official travel partner of the RP Show, sponsor of the Quick Six. Whether it's team travel, sports getaways, business trips, or bucket list vacations, Neil and the team at Uniglobe Carefree Travel deliver expert planning, seamless service, and trusted experience every step of the way. Planning your next trip? Connect with Neil at uniglobecarefreetravel.com. We'll get into all the rest. It's coming right back here on Game Plus TV.
Ultimate Fan Zone, taking our show on the road coast to coast. Shop online, ultimatefanzone.ca. Slick, user-friendly. We built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away. ultimatefanzone.ca or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFZ Downtown Moose Jaw, home of everything authentic.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge. Big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon and Alateen can help.
Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Hold on tight, Moose Jaw. Professional bull riding is back. PBR Canada charges into the Temple Garden Center April 25th. See the toughest riders take on the rankest bulls in a night of non-stop, edgier seat action. Whether you're a diehard fan or brand new to PBR, this is one show you don't want to miss. Tickets are on sale now at sastix.ca or at the box office. But don't wait, they'll sell fast. Professional Bull Riding Canada in Moose Jaw.
Proudly presented by Papikassis Developments Limited.
21-time nominated Grammy Award winner Dwight Yoakam. Live in concert. June 24th, 7 p.m., Temple Garden Center. Dwight Yoakam. On sale now at sasktix.ca. Dwight Yoakam Live.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It is the solo hour of the week here on the RP Show. Just me and you. It's the show where the viewers get to be the co-hosts. Lucky you. Although David number 2 in Winnipeg writes in on the Western Dodge text line. He says, crank it up. Let the Rod times roll. I kind of like that. Can we trademark that, Joe? The text line for Western Dodge: experience the Western Dodge difference, local, reliable, and driven to find the perfect vehicle for you. I realized yesterday I'm a real Jeep Dodge guy. I drive a Jeep and I drive a Dodge Avenger, which is the exact same vehicle as the Florida State Trooper cars. So when people see me coming, they get out the way. Before we continue on the quick 6 show topics here, a few things. We're going to get to the baseball. We're going to continue with the football. We just talked about, it's the biggest story in my world, and I think yours too, because we're all here today, is the Baltimore Ravens backing out of the trade to acquire star pass rusher Max Crosby. And the Raiders are left holding the bag. Carlos in Indianapolis writes in, he says, it's probably for the best that deal fell through. Well, as they say, everything happens for a reason, but Scott in Vancouver makes a really good point. He says it sounds like the Parayko deal to the Sabres. I'm sharing on social media last week that Colton Parayko had been traded from the Blues to the Sabres. Oh, wait. He wouldn't waive his no trade clause. The deal's off. How did this get out? The GM of the Blues is all ticked off, we hear, and he's going through all his staff's emails and text messages to see who leaked it. Like, oh, my God. If everybody just slowed down. 902-518-3033. Okay. There's my cue from John Ohm, who has shown up in the comments. John from Winnipeg says, I went to the Winnipeg Jets game last night. They suck. We were yelling, shoot the puck. You and millions of other hockey fans around the world last night, John Ohm, everybody said, I don't understand it. Like the player's going to shoot the puck as you tell them to. Anyways, point 2 of the quick 6, because we got a lot to get to today. Connor McDavid's goal at 9:03 the third period snapped a 3-3 tie and lifted the visiting Edmonton Oilers to an exciting 4-3 NHL victory over the Colorado Avalanche Tuesday night. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins scored twice, and Jack Roslovic added a single for the Oilers. who won their second straight game. The visiting Anaheim Ducks spotted the home side a 1-0 lead, then stormed back with 4 unanswered goals to knock off John Ohm's Winnipeg Jets 4-1. Jamie Benn scored the go-ahead goal on a power play in the second period, and Jake Ottinger stopped 25 of 26 shots as the Dallas Stars beat Vegas 2-1. Jack Eichel scored for the Golden Knights, who have lost 3 consecutive games in 6 of their last 7. Aiden Hill made 14 saves. So, putting it in park for a sec. We'll come back to the viewer comments and all the rest. Dag nabbit, that's Scruffy. Scruffy. He said the Oilers were going to lose last night in Colorado. Remember that? You saw it. It's on tape. So I went along with that because I trust Scruffy. And he was wrong. He was wrong. That's why when it comes to your own team, that's why it's very dangerous, as you know, to bet on your team or pick your team because you have the investment. Because I was 10 of 13 right. I went along. One of the 3 I had wrong was the dang Oilers over the Avalanche, and you all know that. I picked Colorado to win because Scruffy said so. And are you bettors or you pickers like me, where you sit back and go, okay, well, if I hadn't been influenced by that, what would I have said? You can't do that. It doesn't work. You don't get to walk up to the betting window at MGM and go, oh, wait, I meant to put down. No. Don't listen to Scruffy, I guess, is the moral of the story. But what I will say about this is it was so much fun going to the hockey game last night, and it's why we love sports. I was talking to my sponsor, Bob, this morning, and I said, one thing I love about America, Canada aside, I'm obviously good with Canada, lived there 50 years, will always be a Canadian citizen the rest of my life. But one thing I love about here, they love sports so much. So much. And so do I, to the degree that my life's been dedicated to it. And they like me here. That's what they tell me. It just makes you feel good. Sometimes sports doesn't make you feel good, but when you have a night like last night with this Florida game against the Detroit Red Wings, and I get to go into the barn and share airspace with Melville, Saskatchewan's Todd McClellan, the head coach of the Detroit Red Wings, I was looking forward to that game all day, and it didn't let me down because it's not just about the game. It's about being around your friends, right? You all know that's why you're here watching today. And it's an escape. It's all the rest. But this game here last night, because you don't probably care. I don't know about the Detroit fans that are watching or the Florida fans that are watching. Maybe you are. I don't know. But it looked like the Panthers were going to lose. They rested Sam Reinhart. They rested Brad Marchand. Well, Marchand's legit hurt. And within a minute of the Panthers announcing their lineup, people are accusing them of tanking because they're not icing a legitimate lineup. And I guess the Detroit Red Wings thought that the Panthers were going to lay down and die because in the last 5 minutes, the Red Wings quit. Panthers did what they do, #time to hunt. And Toronto's Carter Verhaeghe scores with a minute and a half to go and then 45 seconds left. Bing, bing. Panthers win. Comeback Cat's still alive. And the people saying that they're going to tank can shove it. We'll spend far more time on the Panthers later on today. My buddy Brent from Wellington, Florida, and I will be hosting the Cats and Bolts podcast at 3:30 p.m. live. But it was just a good night at the good old hockey game. What do we got here? There's Brent. Brent says, how did TK's bet the under on the Panthers work out for him last night? Listen, no, that's a Moose phrase. No post-game trash talking. What I really love is how much you all loved our interview with TK yesterday, which incidentally, he hadn't watched the show before. He logged in, producer Corey could tell you, and he watched most of the show before he was even on. And afterwards, he was like, great show. That was the betting expert. 30-plus years, top-ranked betting expert, largely brought on to talk college hoops. I think I could tell by his accent there that TK's originally from Wisconsin. I could tell. I'm a bit of an accent aficionado. But he's got the Florida thing down, and you'll attest, Brent, when he says, yeah, I might go to the Panther game tonight. Yeah. That means I'll see you tomorrow. That means you're not going. I might go. You're not going. That is the one thing that I miss about Saskatchewan. When you say you're going to do it, you do it. I miss that a lot. But the weather's better here. Producer Corey argues with sorry, Corey. Corey says I wish the viewers could hear Corey. We got to work on that. Monty in Saskatoon writes in, he says, listen to Rod. I agree. I feel like that's like the voice of God chiming in there. We'll come back on the hockey and the football. But point three, the quick six show topics brought to you by Neil Chark at Uniglobe Carefree Travel. Point three. Before I even read that, can I tell you what the poll question is? It is for EMJ Marketing. Now are you into the World Baseball Classic? It's an interesting dichotomy here because like 79% on Twitter saying no, they're not into the World Baseball Classic, yet 56% on YouTube saying you are. Listen, don't be, whatever the nickname is for that, a Johnny come lately, where this thing's going to be over and you're going to go, oh, dang, I missed it. Because what's going on is the Canada thing is great, and Rod Black, who's coming up next hour, his son Tyler is playing for Team Canada. He's an infielder for the Brewers. Team Canada can make World Baseball Classic history today when it plays Cuba in San Juan, Puerto Rico in a must-win game. Both teams are 2-1. Canada will advance to the quarterfinals for the first time ever if they win today. They've never made it out of their pool to the playoffs, Team Canada. And if they win today, they'll also go to the top of Pool A. Now, that's exciting enough. But this is the other delicious dang thing that I wanted to talk about with you all today. I got some questions for you, the viewers. I talked about, there was a lot of jaws on the floor to be cleaned by the janitorial staff last night at American Bank Arena because, number one, jaw was on the floor over the Ravens backing out of the Max Crosby deal. And then jaws were on the floor at Canada USA getting curb stomped by Italy in the World Baseball Classic last night. Italy stunned Team USA with an 8-6 victory Tuesday at the World Baseball Classic, putting the Americans in jeopardy of not advancing to the knockout round in an event that they were expected to win. So they lost their 3-1, and now they got to sweat out tonight's game between Mexico and Italy. If the Italians win, the Americans advance alongside them. But if Mexico wins while scoring 4 runs or fewer, the U.S. loses the tiebreaker and will be eliminated in a tournament that everybody had them picked to win. Now, there's more to this, but I appreciate, where's the dude, Darren from Salt Lake City? He wrote in here earlier. I got to find it. He goes, the hockey equivalent of the U.S. losing to Italy in baseball would be Canada losing to Mexico in hockey. Sheesh. So everybody, sports fans, which is pretty much all of America, are losing their ever-picking minds. And here's the deeper part. It's not just that they lost. Mark DeRosa, the one-time Blue Jay back in 2013, is the manager of Team USA. He might not want to come out of his hotel room today because ESPN and all the networks are running an interview clip from Mark DeRosa, the manager of Team USA, from prior to that game last night against Italy, going, we don't need this game. We've pretty much locked up a playoff spot, so we're going to rest some guys. And they're like, well, no, you haven't. You haven't locked up any spots. And then they get stomped, and now they're in danger of losing. So, listen, I was watching the game the other night, and DeRosa did a really good interview. I had to look him up. I'm like, I don't remember Mark DeRosa managing anywhere. He doesn't. He's an analyst on MLB Network. The last team he's played for was the Blue Jays in 2013. He launched his 100th career home run while as a Blue Jay, but never played again. Never managed. From what I can see, he's never managed an inning. So he's been on television as an analyst. Do you understand? There's a huge difference between analysts and managers and coaches. There just is. Coaches that are on the panel are on the panel because either they can't get hired again or they don't want to get hired again. That's just the truth. I'm sorry. So, it could have been a poll question. Should Mark DeRosa be fired for being not knowing the standings? But it's like, fired from what? This is a MLB sponsored tournament, and I could bet you that he's not even being paid. No, it's not a joke. You would think, oh, what do these guys get to go play? And they don't get paid. It's an honor to represent your country at these events. It's similar to just being the broadcaster like I was for Team Canada at the World Juniors. If you'd seen what Sportsnet paid me, I basically wasn't paid to do it. But again, you're being part of a massive international event. That's what the World Baseball Classic is. And Mark DeRosa, I'm sorry, but he looks like a turd. Can you imagine going? Corey, stop with the funny comment. Turn your mic on or stop with the funny comments. He just said that's Rogers for you. Do you want to hear this? I'll tell you the story after the break because we don't have time now. Well, yeah. Jeff says, I think he managed last year 2 years ago at the World Baseball Classic. You got to be pretty bad to screw up losing the World Baseball Classic if you are managing Team USA. Look at their roster, for the love of God. It is the All-Star team. And they're not even going to make the playoffs because you screwed up. We'll be back. Oh, hey, okay. Questions are coming in. This is exactly what I want. 902-518-3033. We'll return in a moment. That's the Western Dodge text line. It's the RP Show on Game Plus TV.
Ultimate Fan Zone, taking our show on the road coast to coast. Shop online, ultimatefanzone.ca. Slick, user-friendly. We built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away, ultimatefanzone.ca. Or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFZ Downtown Moose Jaw, home of everything authentic.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection, booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Hold on tight, Moose Jaw. Professional bull riding is back. PBR Canada charges into the Temple Garden Center April 25th. See the toughest riders take on the rankest bulls in a night of non-stop edge-of-your-seat action. Whether you're a diehard fan or brand new to PBR, this is one show you don't want to miss. Tickets are on sale now at sastix.ca or at the box office. But don't wait, they'll sell fast. Professional Bull Riding Canada in Moose Jaw.
Proudly presented by Papikassis Developments Limited.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina. This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
It's the RP Show, and I feel like it's one of those days where we could go 3 hours, but we're not. We do a daily junior hockey report for the Mad Greek restaurant in Moose Jaw. The Warriors have 5 games remaining to play in the regular season. They're 2 points behind the Red Deer Rebels and the final playoff spot in the WHL's Eastern Conference. The Rebels earned a point in a 5-4 overtime loss to the Wenatchee Wild last night. The Regina Pats remain 5 points up on Moose Jaw after dropping a 6-0 decision in Medicine Hat. The Warriors play the basement-dwelling Broncos in Swift Current tonight. Warriors home this weekend. Great chance for you to drop into the Mad Greek like I always do. From classic to loaded, pizza night starts at the Mad Greek Eatery. Order online, pick up, or dine in at themadgreekeatery.com. Speaking of the hat from the text line, I got to read this because it's Johnny Positive. Well, his name's actually Bob in Medicine Hat. He writes in, he says, "Good morning, Rod." This is the voice that I hear in my head when I read his text. "Bob from the Gas City. How about those Habs? They're on the move. What a great team. Have a great day, Rod." How about those Habs? Which, as I put it in park for a second and tell a few stories here, it's my only day of the week where I get to go solo for an hour, Larry King style. The story from Sportsnet is this. It's really not a big deal, but it was 2012. The World Juniors were in Alberta. The camp was obviously in Calgary pre-Christmas. So I went out to Calgary. I actually took a week of vacation to go out to Calgary to go to the camp because I'm going to be broadcasting the game on the Sportsnet radio, the tournament on Sportsnet radio network across Canada, 23 radio stations. And it was great. Bobby Margarita was there, Bob McKenzie, Mark Masters, all my friends. Scouted the camp, got familiar with the team, got to know the players and coaches. Send the bill into Sportsnet. Here's my hotel and gas. They're like, we're just paying you to do the games. And they start on Boxing Day in Edmonton. Okay. As it turned out, I was just happy to go to Calgary for training camp. I ended up spending, a week of hotels on my own dime. It was worth it. But I'm just saying, it's an honor for you to call the world. Oh, okay. Right. But I do want to tell you another thing about, the Habs beat the Leafs last night. Don't get too excited, Bob at Medicine Hat and all of our Hab fan friends, because everybody beats the Leafs. And I want to tell you something. This is where I learned how to scout. It's from my dad. And I know we got all the scouts watching because they tell me. I don't know if this is their system, but this was my dad's system, and he ended up winning Stanley Cup, Memorial Cup, and he's in the Hall of Fame. You got your roster in front of you. Let's, for the lack of, I don't want to get canceled here, but let's just say you got the roster in front of you. When you see a guy do something on the ice, put a tick beside his name, just like it, a notch on the wall. And when you see a guy make a mistake, put a minus. And when you don't see a guy do anything, don't put anything beside his name. So when the practice is over or the game's over or the scrimmage, you look at your list and go, oh, here's all these ticks, here's all these minuses, here's nothing. You roll that all together, and it's just like in the movies. I mean, I haven't been in these meetings. Just my dad told me he worked for so many teams. Before he got to the end, they go around the table. Remember that scene from Moneyball? All those old baseball scouts? The hockey guys don't look any different. And the guys give their numbers, their ratings, 1, 2, 3, or 0 in some cases. And so my point is, when the Leafs were here, and I don't really want to make anybody look bad, but I will tell you, is this. In my own mind, I don't even make the notes now. I just can tell. John Tavares that night for the Leafs here, the first game back after the Olympics at Sunrise, I didn't even know if he'd played. There was nothing on the sheet for him. You know who I did notice all the time? Was Benoit, the defenseman, was being a real pain in the ass. Number 2, I told that. I had to turn to the E-Bug goalie I was sit with him most games. I'm like, who's that 2? Benoit. He's a real pain in the ass. He's trying. Another one was Matthew Nyes. Was noticing him a lot. Nylander as well tried really hard that night, but I didn't know if Tavares had even played. And were games in Calgary when I spent all that time in Calgary going, I had to go back and check the score sheet to see if Jonathan Huberdeau had even played. So, anyways, these are the things that I do when I go to these events to work them, scout them, broadcast them, whatever. And the hockey, the scouting for hockey works perfect for football. It's the same thing. So all the football people were like, how do you know football so well? It ain't that hard. Just transferred this from what my dad taught me. Anyways, David number 2, regarding the World Baseball Classic, David number 2 in Winnipeg writes in, he says, the USA manager is still pulling his foot out of his mouth. I don't think he'll manage again. I mean, think about it, I guess. This would be a chat that I would have with my buddies in either country. Scruffy would be a part of this chat. Who would be the best guy to manage our team? Let's pull the guy off TV and have him man. Why would we do that? Because nobody can screw this up. We're too good. Mark DeRosa has screwed it up. We got a whole hour for me to get to all of your comments. It's all of my topics. Sorry, I'm having more fun talking to you. Kelly writes in from the Queen City, says, morning to you. Good rebound for Florida last night. So much for tanking. And says Nathan McKinnon kicked out for hitting the goalie. Wow. Saw that clip in the Colorado-Edmonton game, and I thought 5 in a game for that was very stiff. But I really, and I mean really, don't like to get into the discussions of officiating calls because it is a tough job, and I don't care about the Oilers or the Avalanche either way. So I didn't have any emotion with the hit. I'm sure Connor Ingram's fine, but I see what you're saying. I did have the good fortune afterwards to stand in a media scrum with the head coach of the Panthers, Paul Maurice. He wasn't asked specifically about tanking, but he was asked about his team's great comeback last night and how they played and how they looked like the old Panthers of last year. And he's like, hey, we got a job to do here. He goes, and it's not to see how high we finish in the standings. It's to play the way that we play. And he goes, and we owe it to the Panthers style to play that style. And they did it last night, the comeback Cats. Not every night do you go to the game or even turn on the TV and watch a game and love what you see. Sometimes it's a real downer. Last night was not that for the Florida Panthers, and they're not going to tank. To be honest, I feel a little dirty even talking about the possibility because I know that they won't, and it's such a swear word in sports, but the fans are talking about it, and that's what we all do. Hey, Ryan O'Media has shown up from WQVZ. He's the boss man from the Radio Penitentiary. That's the name of his morning show, Ryan O'Radio. He says, good afternoon to Rod and the crew. Same to you, Ryan. Keep doing the thing. I tune into your show, and you don't even know. I enjoy it so much. The name of his show is the Radio Penitentiary. It's a lot more fun than it sounds, trust me. And the food's better. Hello, Ryan from upstate New York for checking in. Ryan the Cardinal. Your questions and comments are welcome. 902-518-3033 is the text line for Western Dodge. Rod Black coming up in hour 2, the iconic broadcaster. Got a new book out, Cut to Black, and his son Tyler is playing with Team Canada at the World Baseball Classic. Oh, let's talk about that for a sec. And by the way, Rob from the Queen City writes in and he says, anticipation is building in Canada in the World Baseball Classic. Go Canada and Rod Black's boy. See, here's the thing. There is a lot to be excited about in sports, for various things, right? For Canada, there's more Canadians playing in the NBA than ever. There's more Canadians playing NCAA baseball than ever. A lot of them coming up and playing in the World Baseball Classic. Tyler Black is a great example. Rod Black will be with us in hour 2. The iconic broadcaster, his son Tyler, is starring with Team Canada at the World Baseball Classic. It is exciting. How are we doing on time there, producer Corey? Okay. Kevin, the medium, has checked in. He says, good morning, RP peeps. Let me just recap for all those that have just tuned in. We've been talking about day 3 of the NFL free agency. Somebody wrote in here and says, why wouldn't any team want Max Crosby? Because I said on ESPN, they're saying, why wouldn't the Cowboys go get him? If the Ravens don't want him, we don't want him. Sorry for getting worked up. As everybody, even the pundits, are confused with
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Ultimate Fan Zone, taking our show on the road coast to coast. Shop online, ultimatefanzone.ca. Slick, user-friendly. We built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away, ultimatefanzone.ca, or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFZ Downtown Moose Jaw, home of everything authentic.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote your rebel, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Welcome back, everybody. We are going to do our NHL picks probably next hour, but I know for a fact it's brought to you by Pump Jack's Steakhouse and Saloon. If you're looking for a lunch spot, Pump Jack's Cathedral, Pump Jack's Weyburn, maybe supper. Come early, stay late at the place where friends meet. And also, we're brought to you in part by Outlaw Communications and our good friend Tony Plater. Creativity isn't a hobby, it's a way of life at Outlaw Communications. You're looking for somebody to handle bold strategies, help out with leadership, content that makes people lean in and listen. Outlaw Communications is who you need to look up. I'm really enjoying the back and forth with the viewers. We do it the most on Wednesdays. And I got enough content here that I could go all the way to the top of the hour on my own. But I'm enjoying hearing from you. 902-518-3033 for Western Dodge. It's the day where I get to be the Larry King of sports. Rachel in Rancho Mirage, California. You're on the air. Hello. For instance, we'll get to the sports update in a second. Point 4, the quick 6. Aside from the Max Crosby stuff, and as I say, let's not get worked up about it. If there is something fishy going on here, doesn't make any sense. We'll come back to that. But a source says quarterback Geno Smith is returning to where his career started with the New York Jets, acquiring him in a trade with Las Vegas. The Raiders could have been in position to release Smith. They're expected to take Heisman Trophy winner Fernando Mendoza, number 1 overall, next month. Other moves, Detroit reached an agreement on the second day of free agency to add running back Isaiah Pacheco as a replacement for David Montgomery after the Lions traded Jahmyr Gibbs back up last week. I'm laughing because the pundits are all saying, this is confusing. What's going on? And I'm like, you're the pundits. You're being paid to explain to us what's going on ESPN and NFL Network. If you don't know, who knows? Is it too late? Is that horse too far down the road, like out of the barn and down the road, that it ain't coming back? I'd hate to think so. And I also want to say something before we go any further. This will get people commenting that don't normally comment. I love our P1s, our usual viewers that write and listeners, but I'd like to hear from some new people too. This concerned me a little bit as I'm sitting there getting ready for this show. What a great life to be able to watch sports and then talk about it with you. It's not bad, eh? But on the bottom of the ESPN's ticker, it said, I wrote it down, what are you mad about? I'm like, why are you asking people that? Let's elicit everybody right in with their rage. Yeah, that's exactly what the world needs right now. So I'll flip this around and say, what are you happy about right now? How about that? How about some breaking? We want to know what you're happy about. And I hope it doesn't take too long for you to figure that out. But I will say, I got an answer for that. We've been talking here about the tanking and, teams doing it in leagues, and it's a swear word, and teams being fined in the NBA. Owners have been suspended in the NFL for tanking. So it's a swear word, and whether the Florida Panthers were doing it or not, they're being accused of it. Problem is they keep winning. And what I'm happy about is last night, I'll tell you this, in the press box, again, not naming names, but through the Panthers staff, the media that's there, the NHL scouts that live here but go to all the games, there's a really awesome, positive ecosystem in that Florida Panthers American Bank Arena. From the parking lot into the rink, the press box, all around, it's very positive. And I'm very happy to have been welcomed into that 5 years ago when I showed up, and still am. It's awesome. That's what I'm happy about. What are you happy about? 902-518-3033. Hello, Kevin the Medium. What are you happy about today, Kev? Oh, and the other thing, we're not curing cancer here, just so you know. We're not splitting atoms. And so I do enjoy the entertainment portion of sports. This Geno Smith thing, while I put it in the sports update, it ain't new. It was Monday or Tuesday that came down the pipe, but what are we doing here? It's all confusing, as we say. So I'm listening to Dan Patrick, and I rarely have my radio on that channel. As you know, it's very hard to believe, but it's true. I've discovered a 6th all-sports radio. There are 6 all-sports radio stations on your dial here. So there's a lot of in South Florida, there's a lot of competition. So I had it on Dan Patrick, and when the news came down that Geno Smith was being traded from the Raiders to New York, Dan Patrick's like, hasn't he suffered enough? And I'm just laughing as I'm driving down the road. Oh, my God. the Raiders, the resident grease fire, to the Jets, who, if you can believe, are worse. I'll say it again. I want to see those Super Bowl odds, the betting favorites, post-free agency. Because I was shocked, and I had to change binders here. I had to start a new one, but I wrote down there was 3 teams, right, that I said were tied dead last for Super Bowl futures odds. The Cardinals, Dolphins, and Jets. Those were the 3. And speaking of that, before I take it to the streets here and see what the listeners and viewers are saying, the station that I listen to the most is the one that carries the Panthers and the Heat. Great guys. I know most of them now. And they were talking about the Dolphins, and they were saying today about how much pressure there is on this regime for signing Malik Willis. Because everybody knows who he is. He played at Liberty, high draft pick of the Tennessee Titans, but he hadn't really done anything in the NFL. And they're just saying, this guy better win games in Miami, because we're not waiting as long as we did with Tua and Mike McDaniel. They better win now or they're gone. I'm like, oh, my God. Welcome to an NFL market. Very similar to NHL markets in Canada. Hey, Kevin the Medium writes in, how about this? What he's happy about? I'm happy to be able to call you a friend. There you go. That's like, thank you for being a friend. The Golden Girls, based here. Same to you, Kev. It's kind of quiet with the audience, though. I think they're still thinking about what they're happy about. They're being incited by the media to say what's got them angry. Why? I'm asking, what are you happy about? I'm happy to be welcomed into the sports fraternity here in South Florida, and Vegas for that matter, too. Oh, over here. Oh, Darren writes in, he's watching in Salt Lake City, Utah. He says, even though they have been shut out twice in the last week, I'm very happy that the Utah Mammoth are in the playoff race. Giving me topics for my Cats and Bolts podcast I'll be doing later on today with Brent from Wellington. In that, the Mammoth are one of 7 teams, almost half the field. This was as of Sunday. It's probably changed since, but 7 new teams in the Stanley Cup playoffs. I would think that's really good news for the National Hockey League. I would think Gary Bettman's happy about that, which also reminds me, oh man, my stories are getting in the way of what I'm supposed to be doing here. Talking to a hockey guy yesterday, Jeff. He was saying with the brawl for it all the other night in Buffalo, they're calling it the greatest hockey game ever played in KeyBank Center, Sabres and Lightning. I mean, I loved it. I don't hide that. He says, I bet you Gary Bettman and Bill Daly are smiling behind closed doors about that. I'm like, really? Do you really think so? He goes, oh, absolutely. And I said, well, I don't know, but I've never been in a position of commissioner of a pro sports league and his vice president, Bill Daly. I don't know. I'm not like, maybe they are, maybe they aren't. I don't know. They don't have talk shows. As you know, what I'm thinking, I'm saying. It's at my own peril. You get what you get. And I related this story for the Canadian viewers since it's the Canadian Hour. September 2008. The Saskatchewan Roughriders are playing host to the BC Lions at Taylor Field in Regina on a fall night. And the Rider fans were incited, as far as I was concerned, to throw beer cans at the BC Lions bench. I'm calling thousands. And Wally Buono, the coach of the Lions, pulls his team off the sidelines. I thought they were going into the locker room. I'm on the air going, they're going home. They're going home. The Bob Cole line from the 1976 Russian Red Army. But he didn't. He just pulled them out to midfield till everybody ran out of bullets, basically, and then went back to the sideline. And the Rider fans were admonished from hell to sundry. We good? There we go. Sorry. Rider fans were admonished for that, coast to coast. And I went on the air and said they were provoked. I have the Rider fans back. And then I got the backlash. But I really felt that way. Was it Dwight Anderson? No, who was the corner? Dante Marsh fired a football into the crowd. Hit a fan. That started the whole riot. Wasn't the Rider fans' fault. Point of the story is I get called into a meeting on the Monday by our team president, Jim Hobson. He goes, good for you for saying it. 'Cause I'm sitting there ready to get yelled at like I normally. Good for you for saying it. You were right. He goes, I can't say it, but you did. Thank you. And then, like the next day, I happened to be in the mayor's office because we were tight like that back in the day. And Pat Fiacco says, good for you for saying it because I can't. Why not? So maybe Gary Bettman and Bill Daly like the fighting. I don't know. They can't say it. Why can't they say it? That's why I'm not being hired to be the commissioner of a league. But that's why I'm sitting here in front of you every day. We'll continue more of whatever this is next hour, and Rod Black will join us too. We'll continue the momentum. John Ohm says, I would be happy if the Jets won, Rod. Well, you might not be happy for a while. Sorry. That's another topic altogether. We'll be back with Hour 2 coming up right after this on Game Plus TV.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
How about that?
Well, I got to say, how about that indeed? Welcome to the RP Show. We're welcoming viewers across Nevada on Silver State Sports. It's hour 2 on Game Plus TV across Canada and 33 states. We got a lot to get to today, so I'm going to stop Mickey Mousen. I will tell you that our guest today is Rod Black, the peerless and iconic Rod Black, the first ever TV voice of the NBA's Toronto Raptors, longtime voice in the Canadian Football League. I love him. His son Tyler is starring for Team Canada in the World Baseball Classic. Oh my God, I can't. Can we just hurry up and get Blackie on the air? He's coming up in about 16, 17 minutes time. We're having fun, as you can see. We're consciously doing that. And I'm changing up the order of the Quick Six show topics brought to you by our friend Neil Chark, Uniglobe Carefree Travel, so just hang on. Before I forget, I want to get these comments out. I said on Wednesdays, I go solo for the whole first hour, and I enjoy it because I get to play, as I say, the Larry King of sports. That's my term. But, you know, I used to watch CNN just for Larry King. And I know the young audience, they don't even know who the hell he is. Go look him up. Guy was married like 7 times. His wives were all hot. And so, number one, Bob writes in again, and I'll read it because, hey, we're all about positivity here today. Bob writes in from the Gas City. Good morning, Rod. Bob from the Gas City again. You are the Larry King of sports. You are awesome, my friend. I watch you loyally every day. Once again, have a great day. So I say, Rachel in Rancho Mirage, California. Hello. And where the hell is he here? Scott in Vancouver writes in and says, still waiting to hear from Lenny and Lenny in Yonkers. You're on the air. Hello. I think I did say Lenny in Yonkers last week, did I not? But I enjoyed hearing all those names. That's what I tuned in for, all those locations and town names, as you can see, because I remembered 30, 40 years later. And before I do get down to business here, what I think the world needs what this show is selling. Let's be honest. As I was watching ESPN this morning, getting ready for this show, talking about day 3 of NFL free agency, which we're going to get to in our quick 6 show topics here. I said across the bottom, I wrote it down. What are you mad about? And I'm like, why would you ask the viewers that? Let's ask what you're happy about. And as mine would, in half a second, I said, I'm happy about the ecosystem of community in American Bank Arena, the home of the Florida Panthers, specifically the press box, but the whole grounds. They welcomed me in 5 years ago when I showed up. I won't get into how and why that happened here now, but from day one, they opened their doors, and they still have 5 years later. It's awesome, and I love that, and I'm grateful for it. Paul writes in from Humboldt. He says, I was sad this morning to hear that an old friend had passed away. Then you asked, what makes you happy? I was happy to know my friend and work with him in helping people. That made me happy. It ain't that hard. Thank you, Paul, and my condolences for your loss, but sounds like you had a great friend. Ryan in upstate New York writes in, Altona, hello. So I used to sit there and go, how does his suspenders fit on his shoulders the way? That's just me. Okay, what'd I say? Enough Mickey Mousing. This may or may not make you happy, especially if you're a Golden Knights fan. Jamie Benn scored the go-ahead goal on a power play in the second period, and Jake Ottinger stopped 25 shots as the Dallas Stars beat the Vegas Knights 2-1 Tuesday night. Jack Eichel scored for the Golden Knights, who have lost 3 consecutive games and 6 of their last 7. Aiden Hill made 14 saves. We went pretty deep into Golden Knights coverage yesterday, didn't we, with Jesse Granger from The Athletic? Was that yesterday? That was the day before with Jesse Granger. But nothing's changed. The Golden Knights lost another. Let me just say this. You can all jump off the bandwagon if you wish. Stay off. Which you won't. I'm talking about Golden Knights or any team. I'm getting a particular kick out of the Buffalo Sabres and their fans. There are people that have stayed with them forever. There are people that jumped off the bandwagon. That's life, right? And now they're all, we're number 1 in the Atlantic now. If you jumped off the bandwagon, stay off. Whatever. Here's a news flash. As a guy that worked for teams for decades, and leagues for some time too. They don't care. When you're winning, step on up. I'll tell those stories later. They don't care whether you were around or you weren't. Just buy tickets now. But that's fans. Cheer however you want. But I look at the Tampa Bay Lightning. They're really struggling. And I got some friends over there. We call it the West Coast here in Florida. On the West Coast in Tampa, the We the Thunder podcast that are saying that the Olympics broke the Lightning. Again, they still got 20 games to figure it out, and they're going to, and I believe the Golden Knights will. But jump off the bandwagon if you wish. I see some reporters out there saying that the Bruce Cassidy's lost the room. Right. I don't know. But hey, sure, however you want. Also from Tuesday, Connor McDavid's goal at 9:03 the third period snapped a 3-3 tie and lifted the visiting Edmonton Oilers to a 4-3 NHL victory over the Colorado Avalanche. Nathan McKinnon given 5 in a game for steamrolling Connor Ingram, the goalie of the Oilers in that game, the pride of Imperial Saskatchewan. I thought it was a little harsh, but again, we don't get into criticizing officiating here. We don't. Never have, never will. I've done it. It's not a fun job or easy job. The visiting Anaheim Ducks spotted the home side a 1-0 lead and then stormed back with 4 unanswered goals to knock off the Winnipeg Jets 4-1. That's just some highlights of 13 games in the NHL last night. I particularly enjoyed the one here in Sunrise where the Panthers stormed back. The Cats came back the very next day. Carter Verhaeghe scored twice in the final minute and a half, and the Panthers stunned the Detroit Red Wings 4-3 here last night. There were 13 games. I picked 10 right. TK, who you all met on Monday, my betting buddy, he'd have been very impressed with me. He says 56% correct pays. Oh, what's 10 of 13? I ain't no mathematician, but I know it pays. And I was convinced to take Colorado to beat Edmonton by Scruffy, and he was wrong. 902-518-3033. Hey, great. Arlen Bruce checking in. Kansas City Chiefs alum and 2-time Grey Cup champion. Arlen says, great day, RP. I'm looking forward to going to the Canucks versus Kraken Saturday night. Who's going to win that one, RP? I'm happy to be alive and to be part of something iconic like your show. AB, you're a P1, man. You're a priority 1 viewer of this show, Arlen Bruce. The bracelet says 1 day at a time. So we ain't doing Saturday picks today. It's only Wednesday. 902-518-3033. As we sit here today, we got to get into this. Things are flowing so well. David, number 2, writes in. He's watching in Winnipeg, and he writes in on the Western Dodge text line, and he says, Max Crosby trade is like eating a bad burrito. It's coming back. You're reading my diary, David? On this the third day of NFL free agency. I got to tell you, I sit here and I listen and watch all the shows, and I just get entertained. Some guys and gals I like, some guys and gals I don't like. But pretty much all of them are saying, what is going on with this pre-legal tampering period before free agency? The league would like you to know that this day, Wednesday, March 11th, is the first day of league business and the opening of free agency, yet Max Crosby got dealt on Friday, which was not a contractual situation. But Tua getting... Okay, so Tua was supposedly released on Sunday by the Dolphins, is going to sign with the Falcons, but he's not officially released until today. It's all very confusing. But I will... Everybody's confused. Every show I watch and listen to, everybody's confused about what the hell's going on. And David brings up the Max Crosby thing. And as we sit here getting through the quick 6 show topics, I feel like we're only going to be able to do 2. We got to get to the baseball, though, before Rod Black comes on next. But I'll read from the Associated Press wire. 4-time Pro Bowl edge rusher Trey Hendrickson has agreed on a 4-year, $112 million contract with the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens backed out of a blockbuster trade for star edge rusher Max Crosby. Late Tuesday, Crosby reportedly failed his physical, so the Ravens quickly pivoted to the best pass rusher on the market. So, again, I go back to the ESPN ticker. It said, should the Cowboys acquire Crosby? Why would we take him if the Ravens didn't want him and the Raiders don't want him either? I'm not saying he's not a great player. I'm sure there's a lot of friends of Max Crosby watching this show on Silver State Sports right now. I'm not saying that. What everybody is saying is something's fishy here. So he didn't pass his physical. I just looked up his stats. It was his third best statistical season ever. 10 sacks, 28 assisted. A pretty good year, Max Crosby. But he fails the physical now. Or did he have surgery since the end of the season? I'm not sure. Whatever it was, when Max Crosby posts his farewell podcast on Saturday, which we talked about Monday, Tuesday on this show, the Raiders reportedly trashing him on his way out of town, saying he had a bad work ethic, and all of a sudden, the Ravens back out of the deal. This is everybody getting ahead of themselves. And I go back to that thing. Somebody seemed a little offended here when I said, why would we want Max Crosby, we being the Dallas Cowboys, if the Raiders and Ravens don't want him? The whole point is, why don't we just go get Trey Hendrickson? I don't understand. Then we wouldn't have had to make a trade like the Raiders did and give up 2 first-round picks like the Ravens did. If that was the asking price for Max Crosby, why wouldn't we get him? We should have went and tried to sign Trey Hendrickson. So anyways, none of this makes sense. By the way, our guests daily are brought to you by Prairie Panels. They are a Saskatchewan-based company specializing in high-quality construction panels and engineered building solutions. Whether it's for agricultural buildings, shop construction, or commercial projects, Prairie Panels brings innovative, durable products backed by local expertise. If you're looking for building materials you can trust, from steel panels to structural solutions, be sure to check them out, prairiepanels.ca. Who's paying attention? Yes, it's 1:11 Eastern, 11:11 Mountain. For those that observe. Let's keep it positive. I feel like there's not a lot of happy people out there because I said earlier, what are you happy about? Some people responded, some didn't. ESPN's asking you, what are you mad about? I'm not even going down that road. I'm going to ask you, what are you happy about? I'm happy about the hockey community here in South Florida, that they've welcomed me. It's pretty simple. Didn't have to look. That's the first thing that came to mind. There's quite a few. 902-518-3033 is the text line for Western Dodge. And again, the guest is Rod Black, the iconic Rod Black, the first ever TV voice of the Toronto Raptors, icon of the Canadian Football League, broadcast airwaves, and a lot of other things. He's got a new book out, Cut to Black, and his son Tyler starring with Team Canada in the World Baseball Classic. This is going to be great. Tony writes in from the Bridge City. Bravo, Rod. Positivity will always win out in my world, especially when I play golf. Have a great day, my friend. Signed, Tony from the Bridge City. I'm just passing it along. You got a choice. You really do. Every day when you get out of bed. To look at things to be angry and sad about, or look at things to be happy and grateful for. It's up to you. I know you can tell what I choose. Point 3. Oh, boy. In honor of Rod Black, I'll say this. Team Canada can make World Baseball Classic history today when it plays Cuba in San Juan in a must-win game for both 2-1 teams. Canada will advance to the quarterfinals for the first time ever with a win. And I'll stop before I get to the Team USA thing, because that's not as positive. The poll question today is for EMJ Marketing, Elite Keynote Speakers Bureau, of which I believe Rod Black is on the roster. Are you into the World Baseball Classic? Still 56% of you saying no on YouTube, over 70% saying no on Twitter, and I'm just going, don't be a Johnny-come-lately. We got to make up a word for, not a negative Nancy, somebody, the whole thing passes and you're like, oh man, that was going on? Don't be that person. I'm into it. So Italy stunned Team USA Tuesday night with an 8-6 victory at the World Baseball Classic, putting the Americans in jeopardy of not advancing to the knockout round at all. So Team USA at 3-1 now is left to sweat out tonight's game between Mexico and Italy. If the Italians win, the Americans advance alongside them. But if Mexico wins while scoring 4 runs or fewer, the U.S. loses the tiebreaker and they're eliminated from a tournament they were favored to win at all. And Mark DeRosa, the skipper for Team USA, is getting roasted because this interview clip is being posted everywhere. I don't know if Rod Black's seen it, but where he said before the game against Italy last night, oh, we're already into the playoffs. We'll rest some guys. Where did you learn math? They lost, and now, as I just said, they got to sweat it out tonight. And I'm like, Mark DeRosa, I remember him as a Blue Jay. We talked about that. Hit his 100th career home run as a member of the Blue Jays back in 2013, but I don't remember him managing anything significant. And as the viewers pointed out, well, he did manage the USA 2 years ago in this thing. Yeah, but you should, as we say in hockey, just be able to open the gate if you're managing Team USA. He might have botched this whole thing, Mark DeRosa. So there is a lot to pick apart there. We'll be back in a moment. We have our NHL picks coming up, too, by the way. They're brought to you by Pump Jack's Steakhouse and Saloon, Pump Jack's Cathedral, Pump Jack's Weyburn. Come early, stay late at the place where friends meet. ESPN's asking what you're angry about. I'm asking what you're happy about. 902-518-3033. David in Winnipeg says, don't be a clueless Clive. I feel like we can do better than that, but you're on the right track. Producer Corey says, don't be an Oscar Leroy. I feel like we can do better, but we're getting be right back. Silver State Sports and Game Plus TV.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live. Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
It's the RP Show on Silver State Sports and Game Plus TV. We're brought to you in part by Vegas.com. Explore this week's most popular picks or jump straight to 3-star, 4-star, or 5-star options to match your style and budget. Whether you're planning a weekend escape or a luxury stay, your ideal Vegas hotel is just a click away. Vegas.com. Well, look at this guy. Look at this guy. I was saying earlier, the first TV voice of the Raptors, the iconic CFL voice, figure skating aficionado, soon-to-be best-selling author. What sounds best to you, Rod Black?
How about just an all-around okay guy? Professional drinker. Hey?
Hall of Fame guy.
Yeah.
What's going on, Blackie?
How about this? One of the two good Rods in the world. The other being the guy I'm talking to.
I'll take it. Anytime I can be on your team, I'm going to take that deal. Okay, do you want to...
Right on.
Let's start with World Baseball Classic, and then I'm dying to talk about your book, Cut to Black.
Sure.
But Canada has your son's on the team. Tyler, you got a chance to make history.
Yeah.
You're part of it. This is exciting times, man.
It's crazy because usually, Rod, I'm like you. I'm broadcasting these events, and I'm the objective observer. And I rarely wear the Canadian colors, but I know that when we broadcast Canadian events, we still are always. I don't care what anybody says. You're always rooting for Canada. And we got the greatest country in the world, elbows up. But it's really cool. Ty is on Team Canada this year. And has had a chance to play the last few days. And now, they got a big win last night over Puerto Rico. See how I said that? Puerto Rico, because that's how they say it here. And it wasn't a must-win. Today's the must-win. They play Cuba, I guess, in a couple hours, 3 o'clock Eastern. They win, and it's the first time ever Canada advances to the quarterfinals, so they'll head off to Houston. But it's been kind of fun for my wife and I this week and our friends to kind of be like, I've been part of the World Baseball Classic before as a broadcaster, but I never got it when you come down to Latin America and you see the fans. These fans are unbelievable here. The players are incredible. The atmosphere is electric. It's like being at an Olympics or a Stanley Cup final or a Super Bowl, albeit a little smaller, but it's been a blast. So yeah, go Canada, go.
You bring the excitement to the event, but let's get some analysis too. I'm following this closely because I've started working in baseball and I didn't realize how great it was. I told Greg Zahn, I'm like, Zahnie, you didn't tell me how awesome this sport is. It is, Rod.
And
they're saying,
it is.
They're saying that pool in San Juan isn't. Yeah, go ahead. No.
First of all, Zahnie's one of the greatest. I mean, by the way, Greg Zahn should be working on mainstream television again. He's an absolute incredible analyst. One of the smartest guys. When I was doing the Jays, he was always kind of a go-to guy for me all the time. But it's turbo chess. Baseball's fantastic. I mean, everybody always asks me, and I know you're going to ask me about my book, and there's a question in the book, like, what's my favorite sports? And it's whatever tomorrow brings, but I really love doing baseball when I was doing it and love doing baseball now. And there's something about baseball, and we saw it at the World Series in the playoffs last year. And it's crazy how this tournament runs, Rod, because it's March Madness, and we are in March of baseball. It's not like a 162 or a best of 7. Every game means something. I'm sure you've talked to Zahnie about that. This is different. Ask the Americans last night. The Americans are rolling. The United States, if they could be out, which is incredible. With the team that they have, they could be out today. And Canada, if they can win, could play Italy in the next round in the quarterfinals. And with that dream team, it goes to show you, like the Olympics in hockey, Rod, anything can happen. And that's what I love about baseball. You can't write the endings. Every time you go to the ballpark, every single day, you might see something a little bit different. And trust me, even in the Canadian games the last couple of days, we've seen something different. But that American game last night, that was the miracle on grass for Team Italy. By the way, they're a very good team, but it's you're getting used to it. I mean, I'm sure you are. But baseball, there's nothing like it. Whether it's kids baseball all the way to professional baseball, every single day you get a chance to see something different, and the endings are so unpredictable.
Yeah, and I would say if I could use one word, it's the vibe. The vibe of baseball. Yeah, and the second thing is the people. But I will say this though: they say that pool there is the weakest one, and that's what the pundits are saying. The one in San Juan where you're sitting, is that fair?
No, I don't think it's the weakest one. I think it's the most even one because the Latin American teams are good, man. They're really good. Puerto Rico is missing some players, obviously Francisco Lindor, but they did make it through. Panama if it's the weakest pool, Panama's, Panama beat Canada the other day. They took Puerto Rico to extra innings. It's a very even pool here, I would say. It's not lopsided. I mean, people would have said that about the United States pool. They would have said, oh, it's lopsided. They got Great Britain, they got Italy, Americans are going to roll. Well, guess what happened? It didn't. And every single game, Rod, anybody in the world can beat anybody else. We saw it at the Olympics. You cannot bring your B or C game. I thought the Americans brought their C game last night. I thought they were overconfident. In fact, I would say our Canadian team against Panama the other night looked a little overconfident. You can't be like that. You have to grind every time. And it's kind of like, I think Team Canada even has to take a mentality of a hockey mentality to grind them out, get on base, steal, elbows up kind of baseball. Everybody wants to hit the big home runs, which is great. You need those home runs. But in this tournament, it's a sprint, not a marathon. You got to make your hay while you can. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens. I have a feeling Canada should move on. First time ever they get to the quarterfinals. There's a good chance they could play Italy. This game later today has got so many permutations, Mexico and Italy. Mexico has to beat Italy to eliminate the United States, but they can't allow more than 5 runs. So the United States are going to be watching that game as well. But who would have ever thought this WCBC Classic with all of those future Hall of Famers on it, that the United States today would be sitting there on the brink of elimination? It's unbelievable.
I know, and Mark DeRosa's got a lot of explaining to do. Wonderful World Baseball Classic analysis here from Rod Black, but I'll tell you what, I'm dying, like all our viewers there, writing with questions for you as they always do. I'm dying to read your book. It's called Cut to Black, but I'm going to be honest. I knew you'd write
obviously got to be a lot of pictures.
That's funny. A coloring book. We didn't tell everybody. I thought the title would be Hello Canada because you signed on. I liked it. I liked that. Yeah, I wanted that. Actually, I liked that one too. I liked it. Yeah, I think I'm not going to give it away, but the book might start that way, or at least one of them. But it was a labor of love, a passion play. It's not about me. I hate that word, memoir. I hate that. It's really the stories. And Rod, you've got them too. You've been around it, and I was lucky enough, and still lucky enough, to be around so many great coaches and players and teammates in the broadcast group. That and I guess maybe because I'm obviously, a broadcaster, but at the same time, I'm one of those kind of fun guys that likes to, I like to bring the energy, and I like to have fun, and I like to tell stories. And these are the great stories from behind the scenes, from the World Series, from the Olympics, the ones that people don't get to hear very often. Our broadcaster, Rod, you've been out with our broadcast crew a couple of times. My great friend Dwayne Ford and Leo Routens, and all of the stories of these people. Now, names have not been changed to protect the innocent. I don't throw too many people out under the bus, but there is a greyhound that kind of comes by every once in a while. But at the same time, and there might be a few F-bombs in there because I don't hold back. But it's kind of a book about, the 40 years in broadcasting that every single day I woke up, I was blessed enough to work in the business, and I still am. And I don't ever consider going to work. People say, oh, what's your work like? I said, well, my fun is like this. I don't go to work, I go to fun. And I've been going to fun for the last 40 years, and I treat the games like fun. And I take them seriously. I don't take myself seriously, but I love the unpredictability like baseball. And so it's been a labor of love. It's been a passion play for me to write this book. Jim Lang has helped contribute a little bit, putting the pieces together. I will tell you, it took a long time because I was writing like crazy. I got sore fingers for a while there. You get going. I don't know if you've ever written a book before, but I did one in the past, and it's different now. It's not AI generated, I'll tell you that. I know that's probably some people think, because you could probably write a book AI generated, but I have my own kind of style, and there's a lot of funny stories, there's a lot of sad stories, there's some tragic stories, but in the end, I hope people just lie on the couch maybe, or lie by the pool, read this book, and maybe get a few chuckles and learn a little bit about what it's like to be in the sports broadcast world. Carlos in Indiana writes in, he says, it sounds like someone's living his best life. He's talking about you, Blackie. There's a lot of comments here from the viewers. And oh God, this isn't going to be long enough. And it sounds like you're busy. So we got 10 more minutes, and then I'll let you go. But
No worries.
This reminds me of my interview with Mark Hebscher. Hebsy didn't want to spill anything of his book. I'm like, well, how are we going to talk about the book if you don't want to talk about the book? You know what I'm saying? Can I just ask you, what was your pinnacle moment?
Oh, it's still to come. No, honestly, there's just so many stories, Rod, that, and as I was writing and we're going through the final manuscript, I was forgetting stuff. And there's a lot of golf stuff. I was fortunate to be around the golf world, and so many of my friendships come from golf. The Olympics, quite obviously, there's some funny stuff around the Olympics and, going to getting a chance to host an Olympics. And, I think it's also a lot about where I started as a broadcaster in my great hometown of Winnipeg, and to know I came from very humble beginnings, and I wanted to be a broadcaster. I just didn't think I could be a sports broadcaster at the age of 18. And that's, I was lucky. I was lucky to get in, and I had a great mentor at the time named Peter Young, who unfortunately passed away recently. And the saddest thing for me is that Pete, I've never got a chance to read the book, because he was really kind of the guy who unleashed this little monster on the sports world way back when. But it truly is. There's so many different. I was lucky enough to do so many stories, or so many sports, Rob. So many sports, and that's been the great thing for me, is I've had an opportunity to do that.
You could say it's luck, but I look at it and go, I can't. I can do like 3 at the most. I wouldn't even try the others. You did them all at an elite level. But my favorite story about you, and I've told you this, hang on, is the iconic CFL coach Bob Dice going, Rod Black? He was the DJ in the roller rink we used to go to.
There's my start. There's my start. It was my first job. I was 15 years old. I was underage, wasn't supposed to have that job. And I was a skate boy, and I lied getting the job because they said, could you roller skate? I was a great hockey skater, but I lied. And then I got out there and I fell on my ass. But then I saw this DJ guy, and I went, oh man, I want to do that. And so I became the DJ there, and it was when roller skating, for those of you who aren't old enough, roller skating was so big back then. We'd have lineups of 800 people, 1,000 people on the rink, and it was really cool to be a DJ. I was a young teenage DJ and had the big puffy afro and had a cheesy mustache, the same one I always carried for a long time. And the funny thing is they gave me this nickname, Hot Rod, which stuck for me with a long time. And then I ended up going to a bar down the street where Bob Dice used to go. But yeah, all the Bombers used to always go roller skating at the time. And then roller skating just kind of fell off the map. It was, but it was my start. And that's kind of where I kind of wanted to be an announcer and wanted to get involved in that. But I really kind of like being I love that, format and playing music and making people happy and generating a crowd and generating some electricity. And I was just lucky. A lot of things happened, but I think, luck is a residue of hard work. And I grinded, man. I grinded as a kid. And as much as I went out, all my friends were going out. I got that job at 18. It was my dream come true. I got my lottery ticket at 18. And I've never taken, I'm sure you're the same, Rod. I've never taken a day in this profession for granted. I still work as hard as I did back then. I still love doing events. There's nothing like being at game day. I got FOMO here because I actually think I should be in the broadcast booth calling these games. And I still, my wife, like I'm here in a restaurant right now. I'm sure, people, my friends get tired of me calling games, or I'll do play-by-play. Oh yeah, here they come. Here comes the tacos. Here. Oh no, she's talking. Oh, now she's having a pina colada. Now he scores. When you're a play-by-play guy, you do play-by-play for life. And I've been lucky. I've had this been part of this profession for such a long time. And again, like I said, I've just been so proud and privileged to be able to have that opportunity.
The book is going to be amazing. If I'm correct, it's not available yet.
I'm sending you a copy. No.
How can people get it?
I'm sending you an advanced copy. You can go on Amazon and add all it online, but it's going to be an Indigo. It's Simon Schuster. I believe it's mid-May, May 12th, 19th. I'll let you know more as we get closer, but you're getting one of the first copies, Rod. To my favorite other Rod.
Wait. Thank you, man. Yeah. 2 minutes, that's all?
You,
no, we got more time than that. I love you too, man. It's an honor to know you. You talk about not working a day. Being able to interview my friends like you, this is a job, really?
That's a good thing. And you know what? Yes. I'm curious like you are. I love being curious. I mean, every day, I want to know about people. My wife, I get it from my dad. Probably my dad used to talk to everybody. I love talking to people. I love talking to the maids, and I love talking to bartenders here in San Juan. And finding out where they are. And every day is like an interview for me because life is full of curiosity, and there's so many great people around, and so many great stories. And that's what this Cut to Black is really about. Stories, and the great stories around sports, and really around Canadian sport too.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's why I always enjoyed bumping into you in the press box, and maybe that's why we get along, because we see things the same way. I could go on forever. I guess I'll read it in the book. We have like 90
I got to go to the ballpark.
Left. Yeah, so Canada, a big one today. Is there nerves?
Win?
You, the team, what?
Yeah. No, I think that loss to Panama helped them. I think they got the ball rolling last night. I think Cuba's a good team too. You got to have that kind of. They're starting to grind and find their way. And if they can get through this game, I think they can make some noise, because Josh Naylor and Tyler O'Neill, Mike Tyler, everybody else, they're good. It's been hard to get hits. Good pitching, but I think once they get going, I have a feeling that they could roll here, and they could really make some noise. Now, again, who knows? This is the game, though. It's win or go home, and I want to go to Houston. I don't want to go home. I'm not ready to go home yet, Rod. I'm not ready to go home. Let's go.
Oh, they'll be waiting for you in Houston. Oh, my God. They would love to have Canada there once the quarterfinal starts. John in Winnipeg says, how can you not love this guy? No, I agree. And I knew this interview would be dynamic.
Thanks, John.
Well, listen, all I'll say, because you're swatting bugs there, maybe, stay hydrated, Blackie. Stay hydrated.
I will,
I'm worried
buddy.
about you down there.
Yeah, it's all good, buddy. I'm hydrated. Pina colada, please. Here we go. Let's go. Rod, I can't wait to see you. I got to fly. The bus is leaving.
All right. Thanks again.
Canada. I usually say hello, Canada. Goodbye, Canada. Until next time, when I'm on the Rod Pedersen Show. See you,
Good
buddy.
job, buddy. Thank you. Love you.
Cheers.
All right.
Love you, man.
Goodbye, Canada, he says. Rod Black. Oh, my. There's a highlight of your week. Doesn't that get you going? Rod Black bidding adieu from Puerto Rico. I can't say it the way that he does. Cut to Black. Order it from Amazon coming up this spring. That's all I can tell you. I'm going to just settle in the break and get to your questions and comments the rest of the way. That was the very first ever television voice of the NBA's Toronto Raptors. Decades in the booth of the Canadian Football League. I feel like figure skating was a very big part of Rod Black's life, broadcast life, and, of course, hosting the Olympics, as he says. Thank you, John. Says, yes, great interview. It's all because of the subjects every single day. They do it, not me. 902-518-3033 is the text line. It's brought to you by Western Dodge. Get back on topic of what we've been talking about here today. The text line is for Western Dodge. Experience the Western Dodge difference. Local, reliable, and driven to find the perfect vehicle for you. What have we been talking about? There are things that we haven't got to yet. By the way, there is a little bit of NBA talk. We have to do our NHL picks for tonight, but what I will tell you is there are only 2 games. It's a doubleheader tonight on national television. We'll get to those games. More NFL free agency. Like all of these free agency things, they tend to come in like a hurricane, and then a couple days later they settle down. And I kind of feel like we're in the settle down stage, but maybe not. Paul in Humboldt writes, and he says, elbows up baseball added to things I learned on the RP show. Right? We try to learn. Oh, hey, there we are. We'll be back with a sports update and more right after this. Silver State Sports and Game Plus TV.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
The RP show continues. Welcome back, everybody. I should have mentioned this earlier. I will now. Your teams, the biggest stories. Join Mike Davison, Mariah Janos live at 2 p.m. daily here on Silver State Sports as they tackle the biggest stories in Vegas sports. And we've been doing a pretty good job of that here as well on the RP show. I will get to this sports update in a second. But as I said, I feel like Wednesdays are more viewer takeover time. That's how I feel anyways. Asking the audience, what are you happy about? There are other TV channels asking what you're mad about. I don't even want to know what you're mad about. Keep that to yourself. But what are you happy about? Tony writes in from the Bridge City. He says, I'm happy golf season's right around the corner. Bill in Brantford, Ontario writes it, the home of Wayne Gretzky. And Bill says, I'm happy the RP show replays later in the afternoon on Game Plus in case I missed the show earlier. I seldom miss the early showing, though. I'm happy for you, Bill. How about that? Thanks for the nice comments. David, number 2, watching from Winnipeg, the hometown of Rod Black. I just saw this, David. I apologize, or I would have asked. He says, hey, Blackie, being the father of a player, you must be just amped up. Beyond belief. Go Canada, go. I kind of got the sense that he was. Didn't you? And that's why the poll question today is, now are you interested into the World Baseball Classic? To be honest, the majority is saying no. And I kind of get it. Look around. We are primarily a hockey and football show here, for sure. But this is a big event, man. This is the Four Nations face-off of baseball, basically. It's the World Cup of baseball. I mean, be in it or don't, but we're in it and we love it. We're into it and we love it. Here is your sports update. There are only 2 NHL games tonight, but one is an important all-Canadian matchup in Ottawa. The Senators, winners of 3 in a row, host the Montreal Canadiens, winners of 2 straight, with both teams hotly pursuing a postseason berth. Elsewhere, the Philadelphia Flyers host the Washington Capitals. I'm still going to wait till next segment for the picks. There are 6 games in the NBA tonight, including one in New Orleans, where the 21-45 Pelicans host the 36-28 Toronto Raptors. Tuesday night, Bam Adebayo scored 83 points, the second-best scoring effort in NBA history, to carry the Miami Heat to a 150-129 win over the visiting Washington Wizards. I will say this, just to take you a little bit inside our world. I was just finished coming out of the news conference with Paul Maurice, the head coach of the Panthers. I'm walking down the hall, and I'm going into the media room where all the guys work after. I don't call it work for me. And I'm posting my stuff to our social media, and I look up, and they got the Heat game on TV, FanDuel Network, and they're saying, this is the second highest scoring game in NBA history. And it is a what? 150-29. I thought they were talking about the team score, and maybe that was the second highest scoring game ever. But Bam Adebayo's 83 points by one player, 83 points. Can you imagine? That was going on last. What a wild night in sports. Maybe that's why everybody's saying today's the wildest day as we try to recap it all. Let's recap. The Max Crosby deal, nixed by the Baltimore Ravens. Bam Adebayo drops 83 on the Wizards. And the baseball. Mark DeRosa, you got some splaining to do. The head coach of Team USA. Resting guys in a tournament. I feel like this is the last time we'll be putting TV analysts in managerial coaching roles in international play. Like, I don't want to sit. Listen, there ain't nothing I can say about Mark DeRosa that would be worse than what everybody is saying today about the head coach of Team USA at the World Baseball Classic. Losing track of the standings and not realizing the importance of the game. It's a tournament, for God's sake. That ain't 162 games. Oh, boy. Mark DeRosa, former Blue Jay from New Jersey. Yeah, they better. You know what? We'll find out how the baseball gods feel about this, because they could still get into the playoffs, but it all depends on what happens tonight. The sports update's brought to you by Ultimate Fan Zone. Dressed like a fan, not a spectator. It's where I get most of my stuff. This came right from the United Center, however, in Chicago. Ultimate Fan Zone has everything you need. Jerseys, hats, hoodies, and more. Start shopping now at ultimatefanzone.ca. What are you happy about? We have one more segment for you to tell me. 902-518-3033 on the Western Dodge text line, or the live stream chat. And we will be back in a moment. You're watching the RP Show across Nevada on Silver State Sports and across Canada and 33 states on Game Plus TV.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon and
Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge, big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca. All right. Welcome back, everybody, for the Overtime segment, brought to you by our friends at Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary, where they now have personalized shooting training for the kids, but also the adults, too, the teens. It's an amusement park for hockey players. Have I sold you yet? As Randy and Michelle like to say, where skill and fun collide. Overtime Hockey Lanes, 28th Street Northeast, Calgary. Okay, the NHL picks. We do it every day for Pump Jacks Cathedral, Pump Jacks Weyburn. Love that place. I can't wait to get back there this summer. It'll be one of the first places that I go when I come back for the summer to Canada. Come early, stay late at the place where your friends meet, Pump Jacks. 2 games in the NHL tonight, Montreal at Ottawa. 2 teams on a run. I think Montreal's better. Sorry, AJ. I got the Habs. You're welcome, Bob, in Medicine Hat. Washington at Philadelphia. A classic Metropolitan Division battle there. A classic Patrick Division battle. I'll say Philly. It's interesting. Oh, man. Probably talk about this tomorrow with Kevin the Medium, but the whole tanking issue. I talked about the great hockey media community and hockey community here in South Florida. I wasn't just whistling Dixie. It's a real one. I was sitting with Jeff Chikrin last night. His son Jacob plays with the Washington Capitals, and we were talking, laughing about the pundits saying the Panthers are going to tank, and he's like, they're not going to tank. I'm like, no, I know that. That's what they say. And with the Capitals, yeah, they traded off some pieces at the deadline, but they're not tanking. They're not tanking. Problem is they just haven't won enough. It is such a swear word. I feel like, because I don't know, other than Kevin the Medium, I don't know who the hour 2 guest, the Silver State Sports guest, will be tomorrow. But I feel like we need to get into the tanking issue. It's heavily, heavily, heavily discouraged, okay, in the NHL and the NBA. There's significant penalties for doing it. In the NFL, well, they do it, but nobody's been caught doing it. There's no lottery in place to prevent it, however. It's just a hell of a discussion. Oh, from the audience here. I'm sorry. I don't know why my nose is so itchy. I feel like that means something, but I don't know what. I'm asking the audience what you're happy about. And the reason I say that is I don't want to hear what everybody's mad about. I don't think about what I'm mad about. I don't. And you know that now. You've been watching this show long enough. Listen, I've been to hell and back multiple times. I've smelled the devil's breath. Okay? I got reasons to be mad. I choose not to be. Jason in Red Deer writes in, says, I'm happy about Max Crosby still being a Raider. for now. Isn't that weird? You'd like to say these teams will stop these leagues and pause and look at themselves and say, we're going too fast. They won't. They won't. But that's how stuff like this happens. What am I talking about? The Raiders trade Max Crosby for 2 picks. He does the podcast. The Raiders speak ill of Crosby on his way out of town. They spend a bunch of money in free agency. All of a sudden, oop, the trade's nixed. Wait, what? How do we put that genie back in the bottle? That's their problem, not mine. Rich in Edmonton writes in. He says, I'm happy about the cold Chinese food I just had for lunch. I'm glad you're happy about that. I'm not sure I've ever had. Oh, I have had cold Chinese food, and it's delicious. Yeah, good call, Rich. Tony writes in from Cochrane, Alberta. He says, with all the rain delays, my recording of the Canada-Puerto Rico baseball game last night ran out. Who won? Well, since we can take requests, I guess, here. Team Canada knocked off host Puerto Rico 3-2 in Pool A action last night. So Canada will advance to the playoffs at the World Baseball Classic for the first time ever with a win today. How about that? Where is this guy? Brent from the Bridge City watching. Howdy do, Brent. He says, thanks to both of you, Rods. I enjoyed Rod Black calling CFL games. Me too. Me too. What a guy. And it's interesting. I mean, I notice the things that most don't. It's not just, it's just because that I've been in broadcasting forever. Rod Black used to always open all those broadcasts, whether it be the CFL, the NBA, the International Figure Skating. Hello, Canada. Did you notice? And to be honest, I thought that would be the title of his book when it would eventually come out. And it's not. It's Cut to Black, which is pretty good too. Oh, yeah. Scott in Vancouver writes, I mean, we did talk about this earlier a couple of times, but he says Trey Hendrickson has signed with the Ravens, replacement for the Crosby debacle. Yeah, that came down, I feel like, Wednesday morning. I mean, the news is coming fast and furious. But for those that are saying, you know, the pundits even are saying, you'd like to think the pundits know what they're talking about, but let's ask Jerry of my Dallas Cowboys. Are you going to go after the Crosby now? Why would we? If he can't pass a physical with the Ravens, why would we think he would pass one with the Dallas Cowboys? And why didn't we go sign Trey Hendrickson? There's very few things that can get me wound up, but one is the Dallas Cowboys. Hey, listen, John Ohm. Listen good. He says, I'm happy if I can make other people happy. Blah. Start with yourself, John. Start with you. And that should make the people around you happy. And if it doesn't, there's a message in there for you. Yeah, of all this list of notes, I've pretty much gone through them all, and we don't have time to get in the rest. I talked about what's going on in the NBA tonight, 6, including the Raps at the Pelicans. Yeah, it's funny because the spring training baseball is still going on. Like, they paused the NHL season for the Olympics. They're not pausing spring training. The Blue Jays taking on the Yankees tonight. It is a wonderful time to enjoy sports, isn't it? And I appreciate you all for tuning in with us today to be a part of it and enjoy it and celebrate sport, because that's what we do here every day. And we'll do it all over tomorrow. Noon Eastern live on Game Plus and in prime time on Silver State Sports. In the meantime, follow our social media channels, everybody, on Instagram at The Rod Pedersen Show, Twitter the same, and we'll see you tomorrow.
That